So this is something that everyone needs to be made aware of, and it's causing big waves in the housing market. Now, I'm not talking about the migration to Florida or California. I'm talking about the surge in the migration of people moving to what I like to call the rural areas or sub-rural areas, not so much the suburban areas, but more and more people are moving out. So where is everyone moving to? Well, I used to tell people, we're in small town America, so most of the time people move from one location to the other. And I'm not talking about just about people purchasing houses. I'm talking about people buying rental houses, buying investment property, people renting apartments. They typically move within a 15-mile radius of where they're currently living. So from point A to point B, on average, is about 15 miles. That's no longer the case. You see, now the typical home buyer is willing, and they're moving within 50, not 15, 50 miles from where they currently live to where they're purchasing a property. Like take, for example, where we live here in the metro New Orleans area, people are moving from the New Orleans area to the North Shore area, and there's this big lake called Lake Pontchartrain. Well, that's about a 40 to 50 mile distance, and we're seeing more and more people do just that in towns and cities and counties all across the country. So the reason for this is quite simple, and it's been this way for a long time. It's affordability. People are willing to commute more, people are working from their homes more, and people are willing to drive 35, 45, 50 minutes from where they currently live to their place of employment to save money on housing. But it's not just housing that they're saving money on, and saving money is not the only reason why they're moving. So you have to consider the cost of living. So listen, gas, food, groceries, automobile insurance, absolutely everything is less expensive when you get to moving out into what we call the rural or sub-rural areas. It's just a fact. And the reason for this is quite simple. It's supply and demand. When you have a larger supply of people, you have more goods and services that are in need. When you have a less supply of people, you have less goods and services that are in need. So bottom line is, people as a population, we're the ones that push prices up. Take land for an example. If you're in a city that's highly populated, like New Jersey, Nashville, Atlanta, New Orleans, and you're in that inner city, there's not a whole lot of land. So if you have a half-acre piece of land, a half-acre lot, for example, in Nashville or Atlanta, New Orleans, that will run you about $100,000 to $125,000 for a half-acre lot. That same lot, 45, 50-minute drive outside of those city limits will run you just about half the price. The negative side of that is you're going to have to commute a little bit. You're going to have to drive a little distance if you're going to live a distance away from where you work. So we know it's cheaper to live on these outskirts. Gas, groceries, insurance, cost of living, right? It's cheaper, but it gets even better. So on average, if you make less than $110,000, if you make less than $110,000 a year, you can purchase a house for no money out of pocket, no money down. So no money down means just that, no money down. That's right, you can buy a $300,000 house and it costs you no money out of pocket. You can't make over $110,000 a year. Now it's going to vary state to state. Like for example, out towards California, the average income is around 160, 170. So you can't make over that. So it's based on the cost of living in the area. So other than income, it's really quite simple. You have to have a 620 or higher credit score, 2 years on the job. And when I say 2 years on the job, you have to have proof of income through tax returns, tax statements, right, where you've paid your taxes. They also are going to pull what they call and verify your income, but they're going to pull your debt to income ratio. So they look at, okay, this is what you make, this is what you have going out, this is what we know you can afford based on around a 31% ratio of your debt to income. Now, there are some downfalls to moving on the outskirts of these areas. For example, there's not quite as many amenities. Like where I live here in Mandeville, Louisiana, I'm 45 minutes from New Orleans. However, there's not a Dillard's within 15 minutes. I have to drive 30 minutes if I want to go to a major shopping center. There's not a Trader Joe's. We have Sam's, we have Fresh Market, we have Whole Foods, we have Starbucks, but there's certain things that we don't have. We don't have as many restaurants. So that's kind of the trade-off. Now, don't get me wrong, I can easily jump in my vehicle and drive to those destinations, drive to those places, and that's what a lot of people are choosing to do. They're choosing to live in a place where it's safe, it's clean, it's comfortable, the schools are good, there's parks, there's recreation, and you can get a house for no money out of pocket. It's kind of a no-brainer. But you know, here's another thing that I've discovered that people like about living in a rural or a sub-rural area. It's not that they're moving way out to be out in the woods or anything like that. It's just when you move to a little bit of a sub-rural area, the lots and the land's a little bit bigger, so you have a little bit more room to put you a she shed or a workshop or a detached garage. And that's what people are tending to lean and gravitate more towards. They're asking themselves, am I happy where I am, and where would I be happier? Now, I'll share this with you too, and this is some shocking information. Now, you know, I told you that people are moving from 15 miles out, now they're moving 50 miles out. But here's what's really interesting. The people that are selling their homes, in other words, people that own a home, and they're selling that home to purchase another home, the average distance that they're moving out is 90 miles. 90 miles. Think about that. So look, it's not just about the commute. We had this thing called an illness, sickness. I don't even want to say the word, it's negative, but you get it. Everybody was quarantined in their house a couple of years ago, couldn't work, couldn't go to work. But some 30 million people, according to the US Census, are now able to work from home. So you have a lot of people now that they don't have to commute. They can work from anywhere. So it makes moving 90 miles away that much more attractive. But look, you have to look at and consider everything. You have to consider if you are commuting, you are driving 45 minutes, some even an hour distance. And if you are, let me know. I'm curious to know, did you move out? Are you moving out? Would you consider moving out? Let us know in the comments below. But what's also important is you got to consider you're going to have change your oil on your vehicle more. You're going to have to change your tires more. It's going to cost you more in gas. The wear and tear on that vehicle is going to be another expense that you have to factor in. And of course, another factor to consider, and we hear this from people that are baby boomers, they're relocating, they want to be out of the city, they want to be in a safer community. But what's important to them is to be within a comfortable distance for them within hospitals and doctors' offices and that sort of thing. So let's just face it, unfortunately, as we get older, we have more ailments than we would if we were younger, unfortunately. But look, don't just take my word for it or anyone's word for it. Get out, get in your vehicle, drive around, Google what's going on in a community, what you like about the community, what's going on as far as festivals. As we get into certain times of year like fall and spring, people tend to get out more. There's more things to do. Do your research on parks and recreation, do your research on traffic. I tell people quite simply, drive from your place of work, your place of employment, to your potential house or your location that you want to live in, and feel that traffic, see that traffic. Even go grocery shopping in the areas. Be around the people, be around that community before you make that decision on that new home purchase. So look, most importantly, you just got to be happy. You got to grow where you're planted. You got to find a place that you want to call home and to call your own. Sure, it's a benefit if you can purchase a piece of property on the outskirts and it be more affordable, less expensive, and most importantly, if you can purchase a house for a little money out of pocket, it can be far greater for you financially than renting. My example is I bought a house 30 years ago. It was my first home. It wasn't really where I wanted it to be, but I was able to purchase a house, a new house on the outskirts. I was about 30 minutes from a Lowe's or a Home Depot. I lived in that house 5 years. I sold that house, I made $25,000. And so I wouldn't have made $25,000 if I would have kept renting. So if you haven't done so, subscribe to our channel and share this information with someone that you think would help. That's my goal here. I've been brokering and selling and helping people, families with real estate for 30 years, and my ultimate goal now is to not only do it local, but to do it on a national, worldly level to help as many people as possible, because it doesn't have to be that complicated. We want to simplify it. We thank you. We certainly appreciate you. You can go to contactwayne.com. contactwayne.com. You can also call us at 985-626-1313. We thank you for watching, and God bless you.